So we would like to apologize. We learned that Mr. Mohamed Yawo will not be able to join us, and then Mr. Bakari also will not be able to present. This is because, like, student nature, sometimes we don't know your schedule and then things can just happen like that. So I will take you through the agenda and then from there we can start. Sorry. So first we are going to start with prayers. From there, we are going to have opening remark by the President, Sajo Ikejaju, and then remarks from our able Finance Minister, Mr. Ibrahim Awais Jam. And then we will introduce the participants. They were supposed to be 4, but now there are 3. And then after that, we are going to have the presentation. Then from the presentation, we are going to have like general remark from the members or audience. Yeah, and then from there, we are going to have closing remark by our Deputy Communication Minister. So, Seni, I am Khadijatu Jallo. I know most of you must know. And then my co-host is Seni Jete. Seni, you can introduce yourself. And then from there we can start. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Seni Jede. I am doing Masters of Business Administration. Today, I will be your co-host tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Seni. So, can we please take 2 minutes of our time and then pray on our own? Amen. So, Seni, back to you. I think you can, because I'm in the village, I'm not sure whether the network is going to allow me to do this.
Okay. If you want, I can.
Yeah, you can proceed, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Finance Week. Today we'll be having a business presentation from our participants. So I will, before we start the program proper, I would like the president of Gam-Ind, Sajo Ikejaju, to begin with the opening remark. Sajo? Is Sajo available?
Yes, I am available. Assalamu alaikum, greetings. A wonderful good evening from my side, and I believe we have some people joining us from the Gambia, so I'd like to say good afternoon to our Gambian viewers. So yes, let's have it. Just as the moderators made mention of, today is actually day 2 of Gam-Ind's first ever Finance Week, and as we get into tonight's discussions or tonight's competition, I know all of us are well prepared to see what our, like, the pitchers, if English would allow me to say, have to present. So whether you are a dreamer, a builder, an aspiring entrepreneur, or someone hungry for big ideas, this session is designed for you. So let's ignite our creativity and sharpen our vision. Let's expect bold pitches, groundbreaking concepts and fierce competition. So that being said, we look forward to a business plan presentation that is going to switch our attention, as Fatmata Fati would put it, as far as our financial mindsets are concerned. So that being said, I, Sajo Ikejaju, President of the 9th Executive Council of the Association of Gambian Students in India, hereby declare today's OT night session open. So let the competition begin. And back to you, the moderators. Thank you.
Okay, can we also have Finance Minister to make some remark? Honorable Minister, are you on board? You are mute. We can't hear you.
Okay. Sorry for that. I was said that I'm together. I'm here with my, with my president, Sajo Eke Jajo. We are together. So, yeah, today is day 2 of the finance week, the first ever finance week in the history of Gambia. Day 1 was the panel discussion, and today is day 2, which will be centered on business plan competition. And then day 3, which is going to be on the 28th, will be the lecture day. So we are calling on all the government members and other interested members to come and take part in this first ever finance week of the Association of Government Students in India. So today is the business plan presentation. We all know the business plan is very important. Before you start anything, you need to prepare, your plan. That is for the business, we call it the business plan. So this plan basically will guide you. The plan will tell you whether the business is, viable, or whether the business, is not viable. So today, we are joined by our, brilliant, entrepreneurs or innovators who will be giving us fantastic business plans. So let us listen to them, and then we see what they have for us. So on that note, I'm saying thank you to you all.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Minister, and thanks to our um, Honorable President Sajo for that wonderful opening remarks. So I would like to introduce the participants before they start business presentation. So the first, we have Sajo Ekejaju. The second speaker will be Mo Lamin Jeng. Then the third speaker will be Maud Lewis. So Sajo Jaju, can you please introduce yourself?
Um, yes. So greetings once again. I go by the name Sajo Ike Jaju, rooted in the cultural rituals of Kiamasembe and born and bred up in Ketseri, and currently the current president, or I would say that the president of the 9th Executive Council of Gam-Ind. Yes, so basically that's it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do we have more Lamin Jeng?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Modul Lamin Jeng, a final year aeronautical engineering student in Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Institute of Technology, commonly called SVIT, and it is an affiliated college of Gujarat Technological University. Thank you so much.
Okay, Dija?
Yes.
Yeah. You have raised your hand. So
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to bring to your notice that Sajo and Motlamin has they're going to share their presentation.
together.
Yeah, together I think. But they know how to do it. I think they're going to speak
Okay.
let us see.
Okay. Okay, now can we have Maud Lewis, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. Am I audible? Okay? Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am Modules. I'm a final year computer science and engineering student studying at Maharashtra at GKT Textile and Engineering Institute, and I'm also the current vice president of the Association of Gam-Ind. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, can we have the first presenter, Sajo Ekejaju, to present his business plan?
Yes, Mr. Seni, thank you so much. I will take the first leg of the presentation. So if you would allow me, I will kindly share my screen for the presentation. Inshallah.
Of course, you may do.
Yeah. So is my screen visible at the moment? Okay, thank you so much. I will just I don't know what's happening, but okay, okay. Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, as I introduced earlier, so we are going to commence this business plan presentation like this. Let me ask you all a question. If you ever wanted to travel from one African country to another, where would you expect to transit? Europe, Middle East, or Asia? This is because for millions of Africans, that is the reality. To move within Africa, we often have to leave Africa first, then only to come back to Africa. That inefficiency causes time, money, trade, and opportunity. And that single question is what led us to design this business plan called Dandimayo Masembe Airlines. So, my name is Modlamin Jeng, and together with my co-founder and roommate Sadio Eke Jaju, through this project, we propose a regional airline designed to improve intra-African connectivity starting from the Gambia. So, what is exactly Dandimayo Masembe Airlines? DMA is a proposed Gambian startup airline founded and designed from an engineering first perspective. Our focus is simple but yet critical: safety, affordability, and reliability. We aim to improve our air connectivity within the Gambia and across West Africa while supporting tourism, regional trade, and ECOWAS mobility. Ultimately, DMA is about positioning the Gambia not just as a destination, but as a regional aviation hub. A regional aviation hub that will connect Gambia to the wider world. But first, focusing on Africa and the ECOWAS countries. So the viewers might ask, what makes DMA, that is Dandimayo Massam Airlines, different from the existing airlines? So here are, first, it is an engineering-led, meaning safety, maintenance, and fleet efficiency drives every decision, not just the commerce aspect. Second, we focus on underserved intra-African routes rather than competing aggressively on saturated international markets. There are many routes in Africa which are not connected. So Ethiopian Airlines basically is not able to connect the whole of Africa. Sometimes what they do is they use secondary airlines to complete most of their other routes. So this is the problem that Africans are facing when it comes to air travels within Africa. I've seen a lot that people have to go all the way to Turkey only to come back to Africa just to for transits and everything, just to reach their financial destination. So this disparities and problems is what Dandimayo Masembe Airlines is going to fix. What drives DMA? Here we are expanding the Gambia's aviation sector, that is the ecosystem of the Gambia, aviation ecosystem of the Gambia basically, and improve regional travel convenience. You cannot tell me someone from Banjul attending a conference in Kigali has to go all the way into Middle East before coming back to Africa to attend that conference. So it is to increase convenience. That is why we are proposing this business plan to incorporate Dandimaya Masema Airlines into the aviation ecosystem of the Gambia, and also to support tourism and business mobility. Dandimaya Masema Airlines is not only like an airline to be specific, like compared to other airlines, they just serve people and all that. But here we are creating a in aviation development growth, in which will incorporate internships, training of aviation professionals that are pilots and opportunities for many Gambian youths. The brand identity. So here, Dandimayo Masembe represents cultural pride from the two lands, that is Dandimayo Kauru and also Masembe, where Sajo is rooted from. Leadership on honor, resilience, and professionalism. So the brand promise is that it is proudly Gambian and safely for every Gambian. So, what products and services are Dandimaya Masembe Airlines or DMA basically going to offer? DMA is going to offer basically passenger flights to connect the underserved routes in mostly West African countries and Africa in general. We want to reduce that hurdle of people having to cross continents only to end up back into our continent. So we are going to have also charter services for NGOs, for VIP personnel and business tycoons, and air cargo operations to transport goods between our region. So we are also looking to expand it further to integrate MRO organizations. Here, MRO means maintenance, repair, and overhaul organizations. That is to help in maintenance, repair, and overhaul of aircrafts whenever there is an issue. What I've seen over the years is that most of the airlines existing in Africa, they don't have their own MRO organization. They always have to export most of their components outside the continent, say Safran that is in France and other aviation companies to handle most of their activities for them. That is when it comes to maintenance, repair, and overhaul. You understand? So long-term regional and intercontinental expansion. Here, DMA is proposing that it is going to connect the region in such a way that travelers or passengers across the continent are not going to stress out or going to events like 2 days before the actual time. It's just 7 hours, go and prepare and everything. So intercontinental expansion, of course, every airline wants to serve the continent. So making Gambia as an aviation hub in which it is going to create, in which it is going to connect many other, it is going to connect Africa and the wider world. Is going to be so interesting. Think of a scenario like this: a person from Chad traveling all the way to, let's say, the United States or India. So here with DMA, the passing we serving African routes or routes basically will help us to take our passengers from Chad, bring them to Banjul, having them to explore Banjul, which is going to boost tourism and everything, and also having also to like the case of Turkey, you can see that Istanbul is a major aviation hub, and passengers from different parts of the world connect to Istanbul only to go back to their respective destination. So if you think of the Gambia like that, Gambia is obviously going to be a regional aviation hub in the country like no other. The passengers connecting from Chad will in Jamina will come to Banjul. Then from Banjul they will be transported to Delhi, Ahmedabad, or any other place. So, yes, the passenger and charter services I explained previously are domestic and ECOWAS regional routes, safe, reliable, and affordable travel. So the charter flights is going to be, of course, corporate and VIP travel, stories, group charters, and all that. So you might ask, but who are your target customers? I mean, it's evident and it's obvious already. Business travelers, of course, tourist and tour operators, Gambian diaspora, they're an integral part of this company's proposal. NGOs, embassies, and government bodies. Also, families and students across ECOWAS. We see that students traveling for vacation in ECOWAS face hurdles and sometimes end up missing exams or if it is not properly catered for. Because you can see that Askai and other airlines in the region, Askai will take you from the Gambia, having to transport you sometimes up to Lome before dropping you in Kenya. So these hurdles will create inconveniences, and that is what DMA is going to solve. So our core values: safety first. Safety is not just going to be lip service, of course, never. That's why from the beginning we keep reiterating that it is an engineering-led management. That is myself and my co-founder, of course, are engineering students and aeronautical engineering to be specific. You understand? So we've learned a lot about safety and everything. On this side, at some point, will tell me that you are afraid of you are afraid of being a pilot simply because of crashes. I mean, What it crashes at some point, it can like trigger that sense of fear in you and all that. But then for me, as someone, I always look at the safety aspects. That is when investigations are done and how to cope situations. So safety here is not going to be only lip service. Of course, engineering excellence. A company led by engineers and not just some business entrepreneurs will obviously excel and thrive in its ecosystem. So customer satisfaction. Also, we are not just saying customer satisfaction just for the sake of saying it. We mean it. And considering the emerging trends of like self-check-ins and other technologically advanced system, we are going to integrate all this in our system. Innovation, of course, there is no airline in Africa that has an MRO organization or an aviation training organization to train young pilots and aviation professionals. Sustainability, of course. So sustainability is very important. Every airline company uh, has this goal of reducing their emission and carbon footprint. So of course, Dandimayo, Masembe Airlines will not be an exception. So cultural pride and professionalism, of course. Uh, Founders and leadership. Of course, this is the most interesting part. Myself, Mutla Jeng, is the Director of Technical Operations, Aircraft Systems, Safety and Maintenance, and Sajo, my co-founder, is Director of Strategic Development, Strategy Branding and Partnerships. Both of us are final year aeronautical engineering students. So the organization structure, that is a DMA's organization structure, of course. DMA, at the board level, DMA will be supported by experienced professionals across operations, finance, and technology. And the director of all this will be you, our wonderful viewers. Applications will be open, and applications will be open and get your CVs ready. On a serious note, technologically, leadership will be critical for all aspects of our system. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached a safe climb altitude, as we will say it in our technical terms in aviation. As we approach this cruise stage, the autopilot is engaged.
Yes, Captain Jeng, thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sajo Ike Jaju stepping into the cockpit as we enter our cruising phase. At cruising altitude, we stop thinking about just taking off and start thinking about range, efficiency, and competitive advantage. So here we proceed with the presentation and we get to the aircraft and fleet strategy. So under the aircraft and fleet strategy, one of the airlines or the aircrafts we'll be going by is the ATR 72-600 for domestic and short routes or short routes. Embraer, which is E175, and E190 for regional routes. So for future expansion, we'll be using Airbus A220-500. And the focus is fuel efficiency. The sharing is gone. For fuel efficiency, safety, and low operating cost. So to explain this, as far as airline companies are concerned, one of the key things that we look into has to do with aircrafts. And as far as aircrafts are concerned, for those of us that are from aeronautical background, you come to the realization that the low operating cost of an aircraft is considered. We look at the fuel efficiency of it. We also look at what is the best means as far as medium and short range routes are concerned, because as far as traveling is concerned, the range is always considered. And for that, we have the ATR 72-600, Embraer E175 and E190 with that of Airbus 220-300. So to the unique selling points, which is modern fuel efficient aircraft, strong engineering oversight, affordable pricing, high safety compliance, strong Gambian cultural identity, as explained previously, which has to do with like the name of the airline, which is DMA, Dandimayo and Masembe Airlines. Of course, excellent customer service. So ladies and gentlemen, our fleet strategy is built for efficiency and growth, for domestic roads, for regional connectivity, and eventually for future expansion. Then we move to the market opportunity. One, which is growing African aviation demand, and the second one being limited, reliable airlines in the Gambia. That is, if there's any, rising tourism and trade, poor regional road transport. And as far as this is concerned, for those of us that are in India, you come to realize that when you want to travel from India to maybe Nepal or their neighboring countries, you can easily use road transport, or let's say you can equally have the railway transport, that is through trains. But in the case of the sub-region, which is the Gambia and its surrounding, it's very hard to have a good road network even within the country, not to talk of outside of it. So bringing this airline company to the Gambia would go a long way for us when it comes to the side of traveling. And again, this would lead to increasing ECOWAS mobility. So then from there, it's quite imperative that the competitive advantage would not be left out in this crusade. Just as Captain Jeng made mention of, this is an engineering-led management per se. Both the pioneers of this said project or company are people of aeronautical engineering. So essentially, this is not anything that we will be afraid of when it comes to the competitive advantage, because it's not just gonna be led by business minds, but then business minds from the aeronautical domain. Again, we have the strategic road selection or route selection, which is gonna be within Africa and of course outside of it. So also, we have the low cost and modern fleet, which will lead to strong safety culture and again, local capacity development. Those of us that have traveled could realize that when it comes to the side of traveling, a lot of individuals tend to do internal, migration. We tend to learn it back at home, but then knowing the rubrics or what governs us is now, because now that we're here, we've seen people traveling from other parts of certain parts of India to other parts. You see domestic tourism happening. So this would be a very good avenue for those that would be part of this crusade. So to the next phase, which is marketing and sales strategy. Our brand is Fly DMA, that is Dandimayor Masembe Airlines, proudly Gambian, safely yours, meaning it belongs to all of us. And the other thing is social media and diaspora outreach. As far as the Gambia is concerned, and nowadays the world is a global village. For us to be able to have certain outreach, it's quite imperative that we integrate the social media aspect of it. How do we do this? We would have our social media handles and see what's the way forward and the prospects as far as the country is concerned. So, ladies and gentlemen, the other phase of this marketing and sales strategy would have to do with will have to do with partnerships with hotels and tour agencies. For those of us that are from tourism areas in the Gambia, you come to realize that when you get to our hotels outside of tourism season, you don't tend to see people there. But when we have a hub that people can travel from other countries and straight to the Gambia or within Africa, the hotels would be will obviously be occupied always and not under-occupied. And the same thing would happen with the tour agencies that we will be having. The other part is the competitive and dynamic pricing, as we made a mention of. We're not just going to have fixed pricing when it comes to things. Like, we will be moving by the seasons, we'll be moving based on the demands and everything. Again, the other aspect or the marketing and sales strategy has to do with online booking and travel agencies. Most of us that would travel here, you realize that when we're going to other parts of India or other parts of the world, we do the booking online. But for some of us in the Gambia, we either will reach out to travel agencies or at some point reach out to our relatives that are abroad to do the booking for us. So these are all part of things that we ought to inculcate or amalgamate as far as our the DMA, or which is Dandimayo Masembe Airline, is concerned, to have it all infused together. So from there, we move to the operations and organization. So under the operations and organization, the explanation was previously done, which is the main hub being the Banjul International Airport. And there's going to be 24/7 maintenance and customer service. For this one, let me take a pause and say a bit about it. When we say 24/7 maintenance and customer service, you will be amazed to know that we're aeronautical engineering students, and not to brag, but then from our first semester, we've been having courses that has to do with maintenance and management. Notably, We have the Aircraft General Engineering and Maintenance Practices, which is AGEMP. We also have airport management. We equally have aviation management. So just to stop at that, we tell you that when it comes to maintenance and customer service, we will be your number one priority and door to knock on. So compliance with ICAO and GCAA. ICAO, for those that are not from aeronautical domains, it basically means International Civil Aviation Authority. And then GCAA is the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. So there are specific standards and protocols that one has to follow as far as such organization or as far as such companies are concerned. Then from there, we also have clear organizational structure and also initial MRO partnerships, just as the captain Jeng made mention of, which is maintenance, repairing and overhaul. So from there here, I would say every successful flight must land safely. So at DMA, we anticipate early controlled losses. As you could see, the startup cost will be approximately 9.7 million United States dollars. Early controlled losses, just as I made mention of, and break even is expected in year four. So that is to say, we are going to deliver long term sustainable growth, and that is going to be our potential as far as DMA is concerned. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Modulamin Jeng and my humble self, thank you for flying DMA. We're now ready. Thank you very much.
Wow, this is amazing. Wow. And then we are having some of the investors on board. You guys will be amazed. Elon Musk, Dankode is also on board. Ambani is also here. I think some of you people will invest into your business. There's no doubt about that. Even me, I will invest. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know whether Khadija is on board, if he has something to say before we move on to the second speaker.
Yes, sir, I am with you people. So you can open like the floor for questioning and then, or maybe we can just do the presentation and after we have like question and answer session. What do you think?
Yeah. I think we should do that
So
because
we can just proceed with Mod Louis. Then from there we can have question and answer.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Modulus, are you available?
Yeah, Mr. Saini, I just wanted to say something. Why not you ask the audience if they want to ask questions? Maybe some of them did not jot it down before they forget. So maybe if I start my presentation, they'll forget about the questions they want to ask Saja and MLJ. So if it is okay with them, then we can proceed. But if not, maybe some of them can ask their questions right now, or let them jot it down right now before they forget.
Okay, Dija, what's your opinion?
I am okay with any of this. I think Wise wants to say something.
Okay, wise.
Yes, I'm just suggesting that like we go with the presentation. Then after the Louis presentation, then we can have the contribution from the general member.
Okay, no issues. Then we can move on to Luis. After your presentation, then we can open the floor to general public.
Okay, no problem. Just give me a little bit. Let me present this. Uh, is my screen visible? Is my presentation visible? Someone check on it.
No, it is not.
No. What about now? It's not.
No, it is not.
Okay, just give me 1 minute, please. Oh my God. How about now? It's visible, right? Yes. Okay. Sangu, please mute, but you listen when I speak, or else it will be echo. Okay. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum once again. I am Modulus, as I told you earlier. Finally, a computer science and engineering student. Yeah, and I have a project titled, the Digital Harvest. When we talk about agriculture, most of the time, what the first thing that comes, to people's mind is, okay, tractors, all those machinery we need. That's why sometimes we say, we have to involve mechanics into agriculture or machinery into agriculture. But as the world goes on right now, as the world is evolving, technology is part of everything in this world right now. That's why I came up with something called Digital Harvest. It's a smart digital farming platform where we, introduce technology into agriculture. Yeah. So this is an agricultural technology platform for digital data-driven fermentations, soil intelligence, fertilizer and water recommendations, pest prediction and smart irrigation automation. And it is also focused on the farmers in the Gambia right now. So the mission of Digital Harvest is to revolutionize farming using smart digital systems to improve productivity and reduce waste, to support sustainable agriculture. And my vision is like a leading precision agricultural platform in the Gambia. If this project goes ahead, if the pilot phase is over, it will be the first agriculture tech agricultural institution in the Gambia. Yeah. So what do my project entail? What my project will give to the people? First, there's a soil pH input and crop selection. So for this phase, the if you enter or if you have a soil sample, especially in the Gambia, for example, you are going to take a particular soil sample. You go to the farm, take a soil sample, and and measure the pH of it, whether it's more than 6 or it's less than 6, whether it's alkaline or acidic. Then for that one, you will know, okay, the exact type of crop that can be grown here. Because for example, let's say for cucumbers, there's a specific type of soil you can grow cucumbers. Some even you can grow it in a clay soil. So you have to know the exact type of soil you have at that moment and the exact type of crop you will grow on that particular soil sample. Secondly, the pH, the main importance of measuring the pH is to reduce the waste of fertilizer. Because most of the time, farmers in the Gambia, they'll just go into the farm and throw fertilizer on top of it. They will just use their hands and see, let's say the soil is wet or the soil is hard, and they will just put fertilizer anyhow, maybe animal dung. And maybe that soil doesn't need that type of fertilizer. Maybe the soil need an alkaline fertilizer because it's acidic. Or maybe the soil needs an acidic fertilizer because it's alkaline. But because they don't know the soil sample, they don't study the soil sample, they don't know the type of fertilizer to grow. So they will end up, wasting a huge amount of fertilizer, and they will not see any changes at the end of the day. Yeah. So which will lead me to my second point, which is the fertilizer type and quantity recommendation. So my application, the software I'm going to build, it will tell you, okay, you measure the soil. This is a clay soil, or it's how to call it, loamy soil or something, and it will tell you this is the type of soil you have. This is the pH of the soil. So let's say, for example, your soil pH is 3, and you want to increase it to 6, so that it will be the best available soil for crop production. It will tell you, okay, this is the exact quantity of fertilizer you should put on the soil, so that it will reach to your required goal for the soil pH. The other one is the water requirement calculator. Especially in the Gambia, we waste a lot of water in farms. I will take example from where I'm from. In my own home compound, we have trees there. We have lemon, we have orange, and my mom will just say, "Go and take the hose pipe and put it there." So at the end of the day, I'll put the hose pipe, and where the flower vase, or okay, that particular tree, the vase we created around it, it will be so full of water. Then that's the time I'll go and off the tap. And at the end of the day, it can be a waste of water, because maybe that tree or that particular crop doesn't need that amount of water. Maybe it just need a little amount of water. So that's why I have a water requirement calculator. For this one, it will be a type of a sensor. You'll have a sensor, let's say an irrigation system, where it will water the soil for you. It will tell you, okay, if you are growing tomatoes, this is the exact amount of water you need. If you are growing potatoes, it is the amount of water you need. So in that case, each crop, you will know, okay, you will program the sensors in a way that, okay, every day, let's say when the sun is hot, let's say from 11 to 1, okay, this is the type of amount of water you are going to put to the crop, or this is the amount of water you are going to water the crop with. So for that one, that is the water requirement calculator. I will put a sensor which will support my software. So in a case where the soil needs water, automatically it will trigger the application, and the application will on the sprinkler machine. So that way, it will water the crop. And if the soil is wet enough for that crop, the trigger will also on my software, and my software will off the sprinkler machine. Yeah. So that is the part of the water recommendation. I saw Wire's hands up. If you have any questions, you can comment. I will answer the question and I'll move on. Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine then. The other one is the pest identification and prediction. So for this one too, certain crops, when it comes to monkeys and other crops, there are different crops. They have different pets. Like even sometimes humans can be pets to crops, because most of us when we are young, we used to go and add mango a mango flocks, and that in that way you are a pest to that crop, because that crop is not grown. So there so when it comes to pest identification and each type of crop, there will be a okay, let's say for this crop you are growing, monkeys always attack this type of crops. So that way you can create, security mechanisms in your farm, so that those certain pets cannot come to your crop or cannot your farmland. Uh, and the other one is weather-based planting guidance. For this one, we have different, especially in the Gambia. I guess we only have two. We have the summer and dry season. So that is it. So for those seasons, there are particular crops that grows well, and there are particular crops that doesn't grow well. And in the Gambia too, most of the time we eat crops based on its seasonal purposes. When it's time for mango season, or other type of season. Well, when it comes to green field, or what they say green agriculture, most of them, they can grow crops even though it's not on that particular weather, because they have some other mechanisms that is called greenhouse. They have some other mechanisms they use, so that they can grow a particular crop throughout the year. They can have it, but that has to deal with some chemicals too. But in the Gambia, most of the crops we consume, it's organic crops. So for that one, you need sunlight and most of the things. But yet still, when it comes to weather-based planting guidance, it will tell you, okay, on this particular weather, this is the type of crop you should grow, and you can harvest it earlier, and you can sell it and grow again. Because what I see in farmers most of the time, even if they grow corn, they are going to grow corn in the whole farmland before the starting period and the harvesting period. That season for that corn is already over, so they cannot grow again. But let's say, for example, you have a weather-based planting guidance. It will tell you, okay, in this weather, you can grow corn. And when you use my technology, when you use my device, you will grow earlier, you will reduce the waste of water and fertilizer, and at the end of the day, you will harvest earlier too. Because when you give the crop exactly what it needs, it will grow faster. It will grow very fast. You can harvest and plant again and harvest again in the same season. So, it will increase productivity at the end of the day. Yeah. So moving to the next slide. Yeah. So who are my target customers? In the Gambia, my target customers are the smallholder farmers. Like the picture you are seeing, this one is a friend of mine named Fatima Toure. She's the owner of Wera Greenfish. She also have a farm of herself. She's a smallholder farmer. And we have a medium and commercial farms. We have farmer cooperatives, and we also have NGOs and government agricultural agencies, which can fund this application too. Yeah. So the market opportunity in the Gambia, every business, I guess, if you are growing, if you want to build a business in a particular region or in a particular country, you have to know, okay, what are the market opportunities I have? So in the Gambia, we know that agriculture contributes to 30% of the Gambia's GDP. So, and there's low productivity due to outdated methods. As I told you earlier, there's low productivity because if a farmer wants to grow a particular crop, it will grow that crop throughout the season. And at the end of the day, maybe, for the Gambia, most farmers, they farm on just maybe less than 2 hectares of land, maybe 1.5 or even 1 hectare. So that is the problem. So there's low productivity due to outdated methods, but with the involvement of technology into it, we can increase the productivity too. There's limited soil and pest data access to. Most of the farmers, I can boldly say that 98% of them, especially the smallholder farm, maybe industrialized farmers like Jahali Pacha and all of those farmer institutions in the Gambia. Maybe those people, they have this mechanism, to test the soil and all of those stuff. But most of these smallholder farmers, like this, how to call it, these farmers in our areas, they don't have this data, or they don't even know how to test a soil to know, okay, it's acidic or alkaline. Yeah, and there is a high demand for affordable digital solutions too. Yeah. What are the competitive advantage in the Gambia? First, it will be like this application, or this project will be the first in the Gambia, because it has never happened. I've never seen it with all the research I've done about this. Nobody started this business before, so it will be the first AI and IoT based farming platform in the Gambia. It will be locally customized soil and crop data. It will be affordable and scalable solutions too, which I will go on further. Yeah, and it supports both small scale and large scale farmers too. Not only for the large scale or industrialized farmers, but also the smallholder farmers too can benefit from this application. Yeah. So the revenue model. One might ask, okay, if I build this application, or if this application is ready, how am I going to have revenue from this? Because at the end of the day, to keep my business going, or to keep my business to have funds so that I can extend more, because this is just for the Gambia, but also I want to extend to other West African countries, go to Africa and beyond. So for that, I have to have a strategy which I can use to gain revenue too. First, there will be a free and premium mobile app subscriptions, like most of you will see. Like, for example, I will take example of YouTube. There's a free version and there's a premium version too. So for that one to be available with my application, there will also be IoT installation and monitoring fees, because to install these certain devices, like for example, these sprinklers, these sensors into your farmland, you know it might come with some charges, because I have to pay for those devices I'm installing in your farmland, and for monitoring fees to the people who are going to monitor, okay, how it is progressing. Okay, if one sensor is not working, or one sprinkler is not working, the people who are going to monitor it and fix it too, so that one still needs money, so you have to pay for that. And there is partnership with NGOs and government programs, you know especially in agriculture, most of the time government used to put their hand in it and invest some of it, and agricultural data licensing too. So this all of this can bring revenue to it, because my project is going to, is going to make research in farms. So at the end of the day, if I build this, every farm I go to, I have a soil sample of that farm. That data is kept with me. Over how many hectares, the area, the region in the Gambia. So I have all those data. So in a case where people need data, I might be the best person they can come to gain those data, and they can pay for that too. Yeah. So the financial overview. The estimate startup cost is from $15,000 to $40,000. Like the major cost, why it's so expensive like this, the major cost is like the app development. Yeah, though one might say, okay, I'm a computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer, fine, but I cannot, I can, but it might take me years to build this whole application alone. That is the problem, because also as a computer engineer, I have a part, or I have a section in computer engineer where I love most, which is database. So they are programmers, they are software developers. So all of those people, if you want to bring them together, you have to pay them at the end of the day to do the work you want for you. And the IoT devices too. The IoT devices, as I told you earlier, the sensors, the sprinklers, everything when it comes to securing from pets to the lights and all of those things, you have to pay for it, and I have to purchase it. Even the devices, maybe first it may start from an application, let's say a phone application. You can have the application on your phone and monitor it, it's fine. But at the end of the day, it might involve, having the whole software on one tablet, where that tablet you cannot use it to make anything, because it requires a lot of amount of data, and you cannot, maybe your phone RAM cannot support it. So at the end of the day, I have to go ahead to look for, tablets that can program these things, and drones and everything. Yeah. And the marketing tool for this application, it might, cost a lot for me. Yeah. And the project break even, I expect that, okay, if everything goes well, from 18 to 24 months, I'll be break even. My project will be startup, and I will have what I invest in it too. Yeah, and there's strong scalability potential too, because I can scale up anytime. It is flexible. I can scale up by region, or I can scale up by devices too. So it's possible for scale up, and there's strong scalability potential. Yeah. So minimum startup financial requirements. I guess when you guys saw the 15,000, most of you will be asking, okay, this is too much. But I also make a breakthrough of, okay, this amount, where it will go to. First, it's the app development, as I told you. The people from computer background, they will know the UI or Unix, that is the user interface that I told you. Okay, the software, which device are you going to use, which will contain the user interface. There's also the back end of the app development, the algorithms, the testing, which will take a lot. Right now, I'm in India, and if I have to go to Gambia and go ahead with this project, I have to go region by region, for testing, and also for questioning too, for survey and everything. Yeah. So for estimated cost of that, it might cost, minimum from 5,000 to 10,000. Mind you, these costs are estimated costs. I've not been in the Gambia to calculate all of those stuffs, or to make that survey. I'm in India here. So based on, what is online, based on the minimum cost online that people use. And these things, why I put dollars instead of dollars, is this: if I'm going to purchase these stuffs, it's going to be international, because Gambia, we don't make, we are not making certain hardware materials. So I have to maybe purchase it from India or from China. So that is the thing. That is why I put dollars, because if you want to invest right now, the dollars, you cannot use it worldwide. So the server hosting and maintenance, most I don't think it will be ideal. It will be feasible to use like local servers in rooms, because at the end of the day, it will take lot of amount of space. And if you come to the tech guys, they will tell you right now we are moving to cloud hosting. That is, to have my database on the cloud, like Google Cloud, or Amazon Web Service, and all of those stuffs. Yeah, and data storage too. That is for cloud hosting and data storage, to store the data. That might cost up to 1,000 and up to 3,000 annually. Yeah, the soil database acquisition. This is how to get the soil nutrition maps and research license. This may cost up to 2,000 and 5,000. Maybe I might not get it from the Gambia, so I have to get it internationally. That will be the problem. And the IoT device procurement, the sensors, the hardware for field testing, from 50 to 200 units that might cost from 5,000 to 18,000. The marketing and outreach, like the branding, farmer engagement, and product awareness, that might cost from $1,500 to 3,500. The field plots and testing, that's what I told you before. If I have to go to the Gambia, and I have to go field by field to test and survey farmers too. So, that is on ground trials with farmers. If the project is ready, how I'm going to try with farmers so that they will know that, okay, this thing is actually working. Most of the time that costs a lot of money, because at the end of the day, that is where the testing phase, when it comes to software development, if you ask the tech guy, the testing phase is the most important phase, because that is where you will go to the stakeholders. They will tell you what they want. You will have your software. You will show them, okay, an example of this what my software do, and they will tell you the adjustments you need. So meaning you have to go back and add things or remove things from it. Yeah, so that is the testing phase. And the registration and legal fees lies in startup registration. We know in the Gambia registration is very difficult. And when it comes to crop management too, you have to contact international institutions for all these startup registrations and licensing and all of those stuff. Yeah, so the estimated starting capital, it's from 15,000 to 40,000, as I told you before on the earlier slide, which is depending on the IoT scale and deployment size, which I told you to. When I start, let's say from smallholder farmers or in the combos, it might not cost that much for the startup. But if I want to extend, or if I want to go to the villages and all of those stuff, it might cost a lot of money. Yeah. So financial projection and revenue model. This is the revenue stream, assuming pricing converted. This is for the dollars. Okay. If the whole project is working, how I'm going to charge people for this software or this application. For app subscription, the free version is there. That will be free for all farmers. But when it comes to premium subscription, it might be 219 GMD per month, and 2,119 GMD per year. That is Gambian Talasi. The IoT device sales and licensing. The sales price for the IoT devices, which I mentioned earlier, the IoT device is not just one device; it contains a lot of devices, because a sprinkler should be connected to a sensor, because it's the sensor that will turn on the sprinkler and turn it off. When you need emergency light or security lights around your farm too, it needs sensors and all of those triggers. So when it comes to IoT devices, if you calculate all of those stuff, it might go to 4,380. That might be for smallholder farmers, and it might go up to $8,760 per unit. That depends on, per unit means per farm. It depends on what you need on your farm. So if you need extra premium models in your farm, the cost might go up. So the device protection cost, that might be from 1,825 to 3,285 GMD per unit. Because at the end of the day, if your sensor is destroyed in the farm due to some reasons, it's a form of insurance. Sorry, it's a form of insurance, I will say, because if your device is spoiled, you might just pay this. This cost was already paid, so it might be replaced. Yeah. So monitoring and maintenance services too. For annually, it's 1,460 to $3,650 per user. Yeah, so this is the project user and sales growth in GMT for a period of from 1 year to 4 years. What I expect from after the pilot phase, what I expect from this project. My target is 2,000 users in the Gambia. Year one, my target is 2,000 users in the Gambia, because mind you, these numbers I told you, these numbers, I mean, in there here. So this research, there is no specific number of farmers or survey that was done by Ministry of Agriculture. I've searched thoroughly, but I haven't seen it. They haven't posted, okay, the exact number of farmers in the Gambia or the exact number of farms in the Gambia. So, but based on percentages, it is stated that, okay, over most of, I guess, 75% of Gambian people who are working, most of them are farmers. So when you calculate that, it might take you up to 900,000 farmers in the Gambia. But mind you, these are just numbers and predictions, because there is no specific survey provided by the Gambian government or Ministry of Agriculture. So that is it for the first year. My target is 2,000 users, and the IoT devices installed will be 300 for these 2,000 users. The revenue the revenue in GMT will be 1,314,000 and the operational cost at GMT will be 1,606,000, and the net profit will be 200 what is this? Let me move. Okay. Yeah, it will be net profit or loss. It will be minus 292,000 GMT, meaning there will be a loss of 292 in the first year. But that is normal too, because when you start a business too, sometimes you experience a loss before a profit. So I guess that is very normal in every business. And year two, that is the pilot phase. That is what I mentioned. Year two, from 18 to 24 months, that is the pilot phase. My target will be 7,000 users. IoT install will be 1,200. Yeah, I guess all of this, it may take much time if I have to read all of this. But as you guys are seeing the screen, from uh, year one to year four, there's a significant change in changes, to be honest, because from you have how to call it, from a loss of 292,000, it will come up to a profit of what is this, 2,255,000. Yeah, that is 25,550 GMT. Yeah. Yeah, so the target farming interests right now. These are specific farming industries that are available in the Gambia. One, as I told you, and I mentioned before, Fatoumata Toure, who is the owner of Beryl Greenfield. And the other one are rice cooperatives, rice farming cooperatives like Jahali Pacha, groundnut and vegetable growers. That that one, I forgot the name, is just beside GMA. If people who attended GMA, they will know. The horticulture farms, mango, cashew, and citrus, commercial and government farms too. Yeah. So I guess that was the end of the presentation for Digital Harvest. This was Modu Lewis, a final year computer science and engineering student at DKT Textile and Engineering Institute, and the current vice president of the Association of Gambian Students. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, uh, Mr. Muru. This is a very good business plan, and I think investors are listening, and I hope they will invest into your business. Yeah, smart agriculture is something which need to be encouraged in Gambia. Only in Gambia. Food insecurity is African problem. Africa, we have fertile lands, we have youthful, population, but yet still we are unable to feed ourselves. But with the help of smart farming, I think we will be able to feed ourselves and feed the other continent. Madam Khadija, do you have something to share?
Yes, thank you very much, Sini. I just want to bring to your notice, like the presence of Mr. Mohamed Yao. He's with us, and then we want to welcome you, sir. And then thank you so much for the efforts. We understand that you have a very busy schedule. You could not join us earlier, so thank you for making it. And then, if you want to say anything, you may please come in and then share with us. Yeah, Mr. Yao.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam.
Very much. Thank you very much, Khadija, and thank you everyone. Uh, yes, so I was following the pitch that was being done with regards to smart agriculture. So I just wanted to inquire how many presentations were done prior to that, because I also received 2 business plans, which I have been checking while this presentation was going on. So can you please clarify that? Thank you very much.
Sir. So we had only one presentation. It was 2 people that presented, but they like it is a share presentation. It's a share business, like 2 of them. So I think we can send you the presentation after this session. Then you can give feedback, and then we can send it back to them, if that is okay.
Yes, so the business plans I have here right now, the first one is a business plan related to poultry farm startup, and the other one is it's an airline startup business.
Right. The airline one, that one, they have already presented. And then for the poultry, I'm not sure who sent that one. Maybe it is Mr. Jani, and then he is not able to join us right now. But you can go ahead and then just see what you can do. If you want to give feedback, you can give. If you are very busy also, you can take your time and then do it later.
Yeah, I think we need to ask them questions with regards to business plans, and also the last business that was just presented. It's a very, very innovative idea, but we need some quick fire questions and answers to get certain things right. So I think the audience might also have some questions to ask, but I don't know how the setup is. Do we have questions and answer sessions where the answer some questions?
So our plan was to have the presentation done. Then from there, we can have the question and answer session.
Okay, all right.
So we are about to start the question and answer session now. Then from there, we can just continue from where we start.
All right, thank you very much.
I think Wise wants to say something, Seni. Seni, back to you.
Okay, Wise, Finance Minister?
Yes, that is it. It's supposed to be, 3. That is 3 business plans. Sajo and ML John 1, then Mr. Jan, and then you have Luis. But I received Janet's, plan late. So as a result of that, I don't think you'll be able to present. So we forwarded the 2 business plans to Mr. Jao. Then the other one, that is the Luis on, we'll forward that one also to him so that he can go through it and give his feedback. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Okay, then I think now we can open the floor to the general public for contribution, for their contribution. So the floor is open to everyone. You can share your ideas regarding their business plan that they have presented here. Okay, sorry. We have Sima. Is it Sulema?
Okay, it's Sima.
Okay.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Tida Kamara. And my question here will go to Mr. Lewis. But before asking him question, I want to say something about his business plan. It is a very good business plan, though, that he presented. But to my own observation, I have seen his business plan is more suitable. I can say it's suitable, not more suitable. It's even suitable to private farmers like mango and citro farmers, not for our mothers, the farm that our mothers use, because my mother is a farmer and I usually help her. Then his business plan, I don't think his business plan is suitable for that type of farm, for that type of people. Like my mothers, the farm they use boreholes and the farm example, like which farm again? Which farm can I name? This place, Makoiba, Nika Bolamen, Kata Abuko. Yeah, Abuko. Sorry for that. Abuko farm. Yeah, farm like Abuko. The farm opposite Abuko Nature Reserve. I don't think Mr. Louis' business plan is suitable for that type of farming. Although the business plan is very good, I can say it's very good, it's excellent. But your business plan, I think you have to check it properly so that it can favor all the farmers in the Gambia. If you want to, recover your break-even point, as you mentioned, like 18 to 24 months, it should be suitable for all farmers. If not, you will not be able to recover your break-even point. So that's the contribution I have. And I want to ask you whether my observation is wrong or not. I want to know if your business plan is really suitable for all farmers in the Gambia.
Yeah, Sima, thank you very much for the question. Actually, that's a very wonderful question. I was jotting it down, but yeah, to help me more, so that I will have a clear view of your point. Can you tell me the why and where of the farm where it will not be suitable, please? Like
Like
as
the
why it
type
will
of
not be suitable for your
oh,
model.
the type of
Mm,
farm at Abuko. Do you
mm,
know Abuko?
mm.
Abuko Farokona.
I know about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. At that place, there are different women and men farm there. So they have this
Mm,
small plot of
yeah, yeah,
this thing segment, like different type of segment that they use.
yeah.
So I want to know if your
Mm,
business plan is suitable for
mm.
those type of farm.
Yeah, yeah. So for that one, it will be suitable because as I mentioned before, there are small scale farmers, and that are our models which are part of it. And I mentioned that even in the Gambia, even for if you see a farmer, most of them the average land size they use is less than 2 hectares of land to farm. So the thing is, maybe they cannot afford the IoT devices, the sprinklers and the sensors, and that's really fine. But the thing is, the main importance of this is to know the soil sample, and the type of crop you are growing at that particular and the season, as I mentioned. So if you know that season, let's say for example, if they don't have the sprinklers, as you said, they are using boreholes. But even if you are using boreholes, at the end of the day, the amount of water you use on the farm, it might be a wastage, which you can save for later use. So for those people, let's say my application will suggest that, okay, if you are growing on 1 hectare of land and there's no sprinkler or nothing, let's say for example, if you are growing tomatoes, my application will provide to you that, okay, for this tomato, every day it needs 2 liters of water or it needs 3 liters of water. That's an example. You understand? So for that one, you can just measure the water on, we have those bottles like 5 liters bottle, we have 20 liters bottle. You can just put it there, and then at the end of the day, you can water the farm evenly. Yeah. So I guess you have another follow-up question. I see your hand up. Sima.
No, okay. The question that I have is for Sayo and Motlamin.
But is your question answered though?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Moderators, can I go ahead to
Yeah,
answer
yeah, yeah.
Sayo and Modlamin? Okay, for Sayo and Modlamin, you also, both of you have made a very good presentation of your business model. My question here is your business plan adjustable? Like, can you modify it in the wrong run, because the market is dynamic? So your business plan has to be a plan that can be adjusted to remain in the market with your competitors.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Sima, for that wonderful question. I mean, if you know aviation is always scalable. And for the fact that I've mentioned the long-term potential growth here, made it very important to note that it's very dynamic. And as the market is increasing, we are going to expand. So first, what I said, the focus was mainly on regional and domestic growth that is going to connect ECOWAS communities. So as the business grows, so what we are targeting is we're actually targeting a dynamic competition in which we will make Gambia Banjul International Airport as the regional aviation hub that is going to connect Africa and the wider world. So we are going to expand our fleets. So as Sergio mentioned in the fleet strategy, that is ATR 7200, which is commonly known for domestic routes, and the Embraer 190 and 175 also for domestic because of their fuel efficiency. So if you see why we started with these small low cost carriers, because they are not very like they don't have like high investment, and they are very like they can make the break even in our targeted year. So as we go, we are going to expand on MRO organizations, as I explained earlier, increasing the fleet, inviting the big carriers that are going for long haul flights like the Boeing 777, the Airbus A350, and etc. I hope that answers your question. And Sajid, if you have anything to add, please comment.
Yes, thank you very much, Tida, for that question. Yes, so I think just as Emeljeng was saying, as far as aviation is concerned, we deal with trends a lot. In literally everything that we would learn here and there, you would come to realize there is a trends in aviation. So per se, anything that we learn in the present, we foresee that certain things can come down the line. For example, when it has to do with aircrafts or let's say drones that have fixed wings, sometimes you get to certain aspect wherein you would have the rototype and all those things. So basically, when it comes to the business plan, just as I said, it is adjustable, and per se we could infuse certain things or integrate them in as far as we're concerned. And I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
That answered my question. And my second question, I don't know whether I have captured your that part, but I was eating. Then my second question is, did you guys future R&D in your business plan, because it is very important?
Yes. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So by R&D, you're basically referring to research and development, right? If I get that
Yes,
right.
yeah, because it's very important.
Of course. There is no business that is going to take place or hold without actually any R&D. Considering the innovation ecosystem that is in aviation, I mean, that is our first focus. We did our research on like where everyone is lacking. For example, I was giving scenarios here, like in the case of Ethiopian Airlines. Ethiopian Airlines doesn't connect direct to Gambia. So we made all these researches also knowing that ASCAI, even ASCAI, which is termed as the regional, that is the ECOWAS connector, is not connecting most of the routes in West Africa. So we've seen all these loopholes and all these disparities in the aviation ecosystem that West Africa is facing. So that is where we made the research and we consulted on some strategic aviation partners into this business model, also to actually connect most of these places and all that. So basically, we've made research on find out that the competitors we are referring to, especially the giant of aviation in Africa, that is Ethiopian Airlines, doesn't like connect most of these places and all that. And even ASCAI, which is connecting ECOWAS places and all that. Thank you so much. I hope
No,
that answers the question.
I do not mean like doing your research on building your business plan. I mean, a business plan should contain a research R&D. Like there should be a budget set for R&D, because for a business to stay long, you have to have a budget on R&D, because the world is changing. The world is changing, so there should be a budget for R&D that is set aside for R&D.
Of course, maybe you didn't quite understand the aviation dynamic or ecosystem in our Africa. So, considering R&D would have been very much implemented if we were the ones that are going to manufacture most we were the ones that are going to manufacture our aircrafts and all that. So, in the aviation domain, I mean, everything is literally pre-made, pre-processed, and pre-manufactured. So we are just going to be there leasing or actually buying when we actually get the capital and all that. So the case of the R&D you mentioned here, what I'm trying to explain was, it's actually we've done it, and what we have seen the locals. That is why it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go deep down into digging like the members of the loopholes and all that. So what we did was make a research on where the aviation ecosystem is facing loopholes uh in Africa. So we made that, and after that, that is how we did it. So the budget, in the case of budget, I don't think that was much needed, even though, yeah. Thank you so.
Yeah. Kadia Johan is out, but I think they also sent a message in the group that Mr. Jao wanted to.
Yeah, Mr. Jha wants to ask a question. So you may please
Yeah,
let him in.
yeah. Mr. Jao, the floor is yours.
So, moderator, if there are questions and answers from the audience, I would suggest you take them first. Once all is said, then I'll just do a final review and some quick wrap up questions and answers. How about that?
Yeah, that too is fine. That too is fine. Okay, Khadija, your hand is up.
Yeah, that is what I wanted to tell you. Like, Mr. Jai wants to say something.
Okay,
All right,
now can we have Fatima?
Fatih, yeah, Fatih.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, let me not waste your time, please. Okay, thank you for giving me the floor to ask this question because Tida has already wasted a lot of our time, please. Okay, my question is going to what is the name of the airline again? DMA airline.
Masembe.
Okay. Dandamayo Masembe airline. Okay, my question to Sajo and Co, that is Modlamin, is how will you handle by because I've learned that you said like the airline is going to be from Gambia and how you from Gambia within ECOWAS rather before people will be traveling all the way to Middle East and coming back to your destination again. It is going to be a lot of a waste of time rather. So how will you be able to handle bilateral air service agreement within ECOWAS itself? Thank you.
Hello. Sorry, Fatma. I'm so sorry. I lost my connection at some point. Could you please come back with the question? Maybe to be more specific at some point.
Okay. The question that I'm asking is, how will you be able to handle bilateral air service agreements within ECOWAS? That's my question.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. From an aviation perspective, I'm going to answer it there. So, handling the bilateral aviation services within African continent is going to involve some diplomatic relations. But in aviation, mostly what we are more concerned, what we are more concerned of is actually from ICAO and how to manage our airspaces, like which airspaces to use, how to take permission from before entering into any airspace, having to link with the control tower. So all these ones come from like the ICAO, the International Civil, that is the aviation governing body of each country. That is for Gambia, it is Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. For other countries like for Senegal, it's ANASIM, and the Senegal control literally after 2,500 feet above Gambia, above the height above ground level in Gambia, it's managed by Senegal. So those managing this bilateral service in airspace and air services will not be much of a problem because we all have these agreements and IATA responsibilities that we follow and comply with so as to get our licensing into acting as operators in this sense. So I don't know if that quite answered your question.
Yes. Okay. Very well. Just as you made mention of, as far as this issue of bilateral service agreements are concerned, it obviously requires some diplomatic channels because it has to do with a country to country from the name by. However, just as Emma was saying, when it comes to the side of aviation, we also have our rule books or per se constitution that guides us. So if you go to any country, let's say, for example, you're supposed to operate in the Gambia that is under the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, there are orders and there are acts that we ought to go by as an airline company if you want to operate. So here and there, those documents are what would pass through the normal legal system from the judiciary to some point. Maybe the parliament might even debate it. At some point, it also gets to the executive for approval. So that happens. So essentially, when you talk about bilateral, it's a whole set of processes to take. But then as far as we are concerned, we are obviously having it as part of our plans because for us to thrive, it's quite imperative that we ought to bring in some collaborations here and there. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think that one is a very good question because if you look at Africa, connectivity is our problem. Just flying from Banjul to Kikali is more expensive than flying from Banjul to London. So that shows that traveling within Africa is very, very expensive. So with, having agreements with, regional bodies, that will go a long way in helping us to be connected. Okay, can we have yeah, you raised your hand before, but I think you have yeah. Are you
Yeah,
are you available?
very available, sir.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, assalamu alaikum, everyone. Uh, I have I have tons of questions, but due to time constraint, I think I will ask one question to Sergio, and then the other question will be for Model Luis. So for Sergio, that is DMA Airlines. What I want to ask is that it's about price, fuel price volatility, because most airlines, let's say, how to call airline cost, most of it contains, let's say, 30 to 45% of airline cost is fuel. So I want to ask whether you model the fuel price volatility. Let's say, for example, whether when there's a 30% increase in fuel price, how is going to be your EBITDA margin? Will it fall like the fall that fall margin? That's what I'm interested about. Let's say the EBITDA, let's say a 30% fuel increase, let's say EBITDA will falls from this to this, and then whether you will remain cash positive or so. So this is what I want to know, like the model, whether you model the fuel price volatility.
Oh yes, yeah. You lost me at some point when you were entering inside
Oh,
those command clouds and all. Quite interesting. I mean, for at some point I was like, this guy is entering into command. So at some point, from like, I will answer this like from the how do you like, I will answer, I will rephrase your question into the way I understand it, because not necessarily I'm a key this thing master or something like, so you kind of cooked me on that, but then let me answer it on the on this aspect, like how you asked, how will fuel volatility volatility affect DMA. Of course, the fuel risk is mitigated through fuel efficient aircraft. That is why we started with the Embraer. If you know the Embraer and the ATR. So mostly they are very, very fuel efficient aircrafts. That is why we use them in medium range routes and short range routes. You understand? So if you see why we started with this, because the initial capital investment that we put that we start with only supports this type of carriers around West African countries. So the fuel volatility, it was accounted for, but then the reason why we choose these two models of aircraft to start with is they are very fuel efficient, and also we are also planning on optimized route planning, that is route planning, if to be more specific, optimized route planning. In aviation, mostly if you see why there is a lot of fuel consumption at some point, there is restricted airspaces in most cases, in which if you don't have agreement with them, your flight dispatchers have to connect in another route. So most of this addition of routes and weather and weather on unpredictable weather circumstances can seriously impact fuel. So we that is why at some point I was saying there are some emerging trends. So as part of my project from the past semester, I built this AI. I researched into the conceptual aspect of AI in trying to reduce trying to optimize flight-based planning according to that. So dispatchers now use AI into seeing the best routes to connect places. For example, if Askaya was passing through many other places coming to Gambia, the AI might be of help to optimize our routes based on the fuel available to reduce volatility. So also long-term fuel supply contracts, that is very essential in with key with key companies that supplies fuel and all that. So like Petrogas, that is F gas to be specific, Jet A1. We use the Jet A1 in most of these things. So that is it. So operational efficiency helps reduce exposure to fuel price fluctuations.
Okay. Elijah, so what I was expecting as my answer was whether you have done the sensitivity analysis, that is the fuel plus the exchange rates, and also your ability to pass some of the cost to your customers, and also the contingency plans. So that's what I was expecting. So it's fine. So I think I will ask the next question to Modu Luis. Oh,
So
yeah, you can go, Sergio, you can come in, please.
yes, so what I wanted to say is this is actually an ongoing, I mean, plan or whatsoever we might call it. However, when we get to maybe, at some point when you talk about your commerce terms and when we get into the sciences, we are more or less not in the same lane. But then as far as, airline companies are concerned, to some extent, one needs, let's say, an air operator certificate. And as far as the air operator certificate, we're studying it as AOC is concerned, it's quite imperative that this issue of fuel that you make a mention of are quite considered. So in the long run, for one to be able to acquire those certificates, you obviously need to put in the fuel volatility part that you make mention of. So as far as we are concerned, when you get into our detailed report, or as we make some adjustments on our report, we would have them infused into it. We obviously have it as part of our considerations, and I bet you the plan will obviously have it featured, inshallah. Yes, so that being said, also, when it comes to this issue of fuel, also, it depends on the type of aircraft that one wants to go with, whether it's going to be, let's say, the private aircrafts, or one is going to go by the commercial aircrafts. Like in our case, when you talk of the private aircrafts, you hear in half the Bombardier and, of course, the Embraer. And we believe these are fuel efficient, and that is why we're going by them. So when it comes to the fuel volatility, that shouldn't be much a biggie. And when it comes to the commercial aircrafts like Airbus, that is for the expansion stage, we would have this aspect of fuel efficiency that we're talking of. So in a nutshell, as far as aviation is concerned, and as far as airline companies are concerned, one of the key things that we look into is the fuel efficiency. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sergio. So the next question is to Modu Luis. So when you were presenting your business plan, you made mention that, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, you made mention that there is not much data because you believe that, let's say, Ministry of Agriculture have not done, there is no data per se, like they have not conducted any survey like this. But and then you stated that you are going to, for year one, the users is 2,000 users. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, that is it. You said the start is 2,000 users. So I want to know, since you don't have adequate data to come up with this 2,000, it means that it's based on guesstimate. So I want to know, like, since this is based on guesstimate, why 2,000 users and then not more than 2,000 or less than 2,000 users? And then if less than 2,000, what are some of the adjustments are you going to do?
Yeah, so thank you very much for that question. I guess that is a very important question, which I always ask myself too. So the thing is, the reason why I choose 2000 is because there's an estimate in the internet that 75% of working Gambians are agriculturists, like they are farmers. So if you remove 75% from the current 2.5 million population of the Gambia, like it might sum up to, let's say, for example, more than 900,000 Gambians that are working, that are farmers. You understand? So that is where I took my estimate from. So if you see from 9,000 to 2,000, because I'm estimating in the combos. So that is from maybe from Banjul, Birkama, Faraba. Yeah. So that is the reason why I chose this 2000. And if you see where my net profit or losses, there is an estimate loss of 292,000. Because when you start your pilot year, those 2,000 people you acquire those devices for. Because as I told you, these devices cannot be manufactured in the Gambia. So you have to maybe order it from India, or you have to purchase it from China. So in a case where you purchase these devices, and at the end of the day, you don't have this adequate 2,000 users, that is counted. And maybe even if those users are available, not all of them in the first year, they'll be able to purchase it. or they will want to purchase it or trust it. So they have to see that okay, it's working for other people. That's why in the first year you see that there's a loss, and if everything goes well in the first year, in the second year there'll be a huge investment which will be like 7,000 users. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah,
Okay, now,
okay. I understand that you get the data from, let's say 75% of the Gambian population are into agriculture and also. But then what I want to know is that whether you put into consideration that, let's say, out of that 75%, maybe there is a quite number of people that are uneducated, and then also they are into
Mm,
a very small yes. Do you understand the question?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. To be honest, I put that into consideration. But the thing is, maybe from a finance back, from a commerce field, if you are planning a business and a tech field is different. Because for us, this is a software application, and we have a software development steps. The first step we have planning and analysis, design, implementation, testing, deployment, maintenance. So if you are from a tech background, you will know these things. So for me right now, I'm just in the planning and analysis phase and design. I'm not even up to the testing phase. So the thing is, if I reach into the testing phase, then I will be in the Gambia by that time. I will go maybe from corner to corner. I will do those investigations, and maybe that number might be reduced. That's why when I was presented, I always made emphasis that this number, you know, this number is not like a number that was so vague in the Gambia, because I'm in India here. I took from the internet and I made a rough estimate. So that I guess that answers your question now.
yeah, that one too is a very interesting question. Yeah, from the commerce point of view, as someone who is presenting your business ideas to investors, you are persuading, you are pitching to them, you are persuading them in order to invest into your business. So you should ensure that you have all the facts and figures, so that the investors, they will not be scared to invest their money into your business. So now can we have Suleiman?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Uh, how are you all? Thank you very much for having me here. This is Suleiman Jallo, a former finance minister of the association. Um, Thank you very much for the presentation. That is my father, Sajo, and then Emel Jeng, and then Luis as well. My question will go both to the two sides, that is the agri-based and then the aeronautical side. So I will first start with the agricultural area, that is Mr. Luis. My question to you, Mr. Luis, is do you have any plan to extend this model, like this business, to the wider public? If yes, then how are you going to do it? And then again, the cost involved in running this business. Do you have also do you plan any partnership with someone in the long run? If yes, then how? What are the means to go by it? That is the question to Luis. And then coming back to the aeronautical side,
Yeah, Mr.
that is
Sokol, can I answer
okay,
your
okay,
question? Then you move on. Yeah. So
okay, okay.
I'm sorry. To be honest, I was writing the question, but I guess I forgot some part. You said, do you have any plan to extend, right, to extend the business?
Oh, okay. Do you have any plan to extend this plan to the wider public, that is to the entire Gambia? Because here
Yeah.
we know a lot of the Gambian farmers, they are always based on subsistence farming. So those who are planning to do commercial farming, how are you going to help them? And are you going to be the one to control everything, or they will, at some point, they will be the one to control it by themselves? That is the farmers I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you very much for that question. That is a very, very, very good question. Yeah, to be honest, I have a plan of extending it to whole Gambia and even beyond. Because from Gambia, I want to move on to other countries in the sub-region too. So the thing is, right now, uh, the amount of farmers in the Gambia right now, the combos is mainly my target. That is it. And Sima asks a very important question too, that our mothers, those people that are doing traditional farming now, how are they going to get involved? For me, where I'm coming in is to help invest stage. That is it. To help invest stage and to tell them, okay, if you farm right, you might end up having more than you harvest. Because I mentioned that most of the time in the Gambia, especially the traditional farmers, they farm throughout the season, and the only harvest they make is once in every season. They only harvest once in every season. So what I'm saying is, if you use correct farming techniques when it comes to technology, correct farming techniques, you might plant your seed, harvest it, and you will be able to plant again in the same season, meaning it will have more revenue for you. So the thing is, even when it comes to the finance, people might ask that, okay, maybe my traditional mother or my traditional father cannot afford to pay for cannot afford cash to pay for this certain technological devices you are using. But the thing is, sometimes it doesn't only based on cash, it can be based on commodity. For example, if I come to your farm and I see you are growing tomatoes, you are growing 10 kg every 2 months. In that 10 kg, if my technology can increase it from 10 kg to 50 kg every 2 months, then maybe I can sell you. If I increase 20 kg, the profit will be mine. Meaning, okay, the amount you are paying me or the amount you are giving me of that selling price and convert it to the exact amount of how my software is costing, then you pay for that. So that can also be another way. And there's this last part of your question which says, can you repeat the last part, please?
Yeah, that is how do you plan, like, do you have any plan regarding whether the farmer himself will going to control the
Okay.
system in the
Yeah.
long run, or you will be the one to
Yeah.
control the farmer?
Yeah. So for that one too, that's why I said, for first it can start from a software device, that can be you can use on a mobile phone. Then later it can involve, like, let's say, these tablets that you are going to use that software on those tablets. And the thing is, where I told you I'm going to use sensors and triggers. Let's say, for example, if you are using a sprinkler in your farm, there's a sensor there in that farm. So if this farm is dry and it needs water, the trigger will trigger the sensor and the sprinklers will turn on automatically. And if the farm is wet enough, it will also trigger the sensor and it will turn it off by itself. So meaning, for that one, I don't have to turn it on. The farmer doesn't have to turn it on. It all depends on the technology that we are using, and the installation will be done by me because the farmers cannot do the installation. The installation, the programs, everything will be done by me. Yeah, so that's it. But there are other premium features, that are for commercial farmers. For those ones, they have to be on spot. Like, you have to program it on spot. Let's say, for example, when it comes to the emergency lights, the security lights, and all of those stuff, those ones, they can be done by the farmers. Though, we can also have, if the institution is big enough and we have, members who can do those things for the farmers, fine, it's possible we can do it. But for the traditional farmers, they don't need that stuff. Yeah, that's it.
Uh, uh,
I guess
can
that
I
answers
comment
your
again
question.
for just a minute?
Yeah,
Okay,
go
for
ahead.
instance, if you have a particular farmer who is interested, like who is
Mhm.
having 2-3 hectare, and then he have the intention of growing rice. So how can you going to manage this for him?
Yes. Yeah, so this it will all depends on the application, on my software. It will tell you, okay, you are growing on 3 hectares. This is the size, like the distribution of the land. This is how you divide it. Everything will be available. Then you are going to place those sprinklers and those sensors on different parts of the land. I don't know if you understand. So if a particular sensor triggers for water, the sprinkler for that area will be on. If it triggers, if the soil is wet enough, that will be off. So for that one, it's already planted. The sensors is already It's already there. And the thing is, just take for an example, if you walk into a into a mall, there is a device, there's a door there that will open automatically. You don't have to. Nobody is sitting somewhere to see, okay, a person is coming in. Let me open the door. It doesn't work like that because there are sensors available everywhere. The sensor will sense that, okay, there's a human being or an object that is coming towards the door. I should open it. And if there is no object or human being on a certain amount, a certain distance, it will close the door. So it will just work like that. It doesn't need anybody. The first is the installation. After the installation, it will work automatically. Yeah.
Okay, now can we have our guest speaker on board, please, Mr. Jao?
Yes, thank you very much, moderator. I thought the questions and answers were going to be quick, but I think this shows how interesting the business plans are. So I had the chance, it was positive because I had the chance to open the two plans to briefly go through them. But I am made to understand that the poultry business farm did not actually present. So please confirm if I'm audible enough because it's raining here.
Yes, you are.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll start with the first plan. I'll make this really quick. Let's have a quick fire rapid questions and answers, and then I'll just give my final remark. I'll further review the plans in depth, and then I'll provide my feedbacks and send it back, inshallah. So starting with both ideas are actually very, very novel, honestly. But DMA, it's a very, very bold business idea, yeah? Because as we know, the aviation industry is really very, very technical, and it requires a lot of, like, it is very capital intensive and highly regulated. So the questions I have for, though I was not here during the presentations, but according to what I read in the business plan and some of the questions that were asked, I realized that leadership, I want to focus on the leadership and experience because you are dealing with an airline business. And in this case, who is actually responsible for the day-to-day airline operations and also the safety, oversights. And I'm saying this from the start of the launch date. Yeah? And you also need to have the proven, experience running an airline. So your management team and your safety measurements are extremely important when it comes to airlines, because basically everything you do resolves around them, this leadership and experience. Because when that is missing, then you tend to miss some, small components within your customer satisfaction level, and also it is highly competitive, so people can easily, look left or right for the next available option. So how do you actually plan to, work on this? Like, because I don't see that it is mentioned in your plan. And one more thing also, your business plans, before you answer this question, this is for both presenters. I just opened your business plans, but they are very, very concise. Now, when it comes to business plans, when the idea is in your mind, it's called a business idea. When it's written down, is a business plan, and then you pitch. So what you did today was pitching. But the business plan is a detailed, comprehensive document. Business plans can go up to 40 pages. It can go up to, but minimum, like really minimum, your business plan, at least it should be above 10 pages. It can go up to, I'm not saying write things that are not relevant, but your business plan has to be detailed. Every single thing needs to be explained there. The reason is the plan is not for anyone, the plan is for yourself. It is the pitch that you pitch to investors. That is your PowerPoint slide. But the business plan is for you, and it's a roadmap. It is going to show you how to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So you need it to be as detailed as possible so that you can come back to it anytime you need guidance. So I will implore you to actually expand, like all those bullet points you listed, you explain them. I realized that a lot of questions were asked here, and you gave brilliant answers. Honestly, your answers were very, very on point. Now, these answers you are giving, they are actually supposed to be well explained in the plan, so that if someone reads the plan the questions now will just focus on the finances and how will you get your ROI, return on investment, and stuff like that. But questions should not be coming from the type of questions I'm hearing here, because that should have been very, very detailed. Okay, so that's just one of the observations I made. So now back to the first question about the leadership and experience. How do you guys want to go about it? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Jao, for that observation, and thank you so much. So actually, this business plan was actually very, very conceptual at some point. It just popped up that we had to like just, I know like everyone says it's very bold. I mean, even us at some point, but then it's a long term grown. It is a long term thing, and we step by step. It can take 15 years. It can take as long as we go. Maybe after Sarge's PhD or anything. So going about the leadership, you made mention. I don't know if I get your question right, but then going about the leadership, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, you say that considering the fact that we don't have the required expertise at the moment or experience, how are we going to go about the leadership? So that is who that. So did I get that very right? The question. So maybe you could, if you could quickly rephrase it and to be more specific, I can just go on the answers.
Yeah, I mean, who will be responsible like for your day-to-day operation?
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, I mean, who will be responsible for the, let's say, the day-to-day airline operation? This from the from the time you start the launch. So I don't expect you to have this now, but what have you done so far about finding people that you actually work with you? When I say leadership and experience, the entire, not necessarily you or your co-founder, but the people, like let's say the pilot or those that have experience in operating in operation oversights and all these things. Yeah, they're one of the important component within the airline aviation space, because all these airline crashes. I mean, one single crash can lead to detrimental losses for your company just with one crash, because lives. So how do you plan to go about this? I think Sima was talking about the issue of R&D. This is where R&D comes in. I mean, you don't need to have a specific section in the plan for it, but your entire plan is basically on R&D, especially if you are not yet in the market. So any research on that, or what are the plans in place?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. For basically, if I get your question right, was that how are we going to source these aviation professionals like flight operators, inspectors, and maybe flight engineers and maintenance and everything? So this thing, the ability to source this is from like hiring experts in this domain. Actually, if you know about GCA, they have experts. Though Gambia doesn't have an airline per se, but then GCA, that is Gambia Civil Aviation Authorities, who are our close partners, which was supposed to be detailed in the business plan. So they have most of these professionals. They have licensed pilots, ATPLs, and they have CPL pilots. Also, Gambia has like we have some air hostess training, and we also have air hostesses. They are maintenance engineers, and also the leadership aspect of this whole issue, that is the pilot hiring pilots come with if you read into the detailed business plan, we mentioned that there is going to be aviation training for professionals, which is going to focus on air hostess training and pilot sourcing. So pilot at the in the initial starting point will be sourced from other airlines, or even like before going to other airlines. I mean, so in the pilots, that this is what we're going to hire you from. This is the project we have. I mean, we already have Gambian pilots there in the industry already. So sourcing that will not be difficult, and most of them are not even flying at the moment. So they are mostly in GCA as inspectors, and their day-to-day activities work on that. So the day-to-day activities running can be comprised of these all components. That is from pilots, air hostesses, flight operators. You have you have the agents that sell tickets. So that is the finance aspect and all that. So the aviation professionals basically will not be very hard to source, and we have many aviation professionals in the Gambia, some of which are in GCA, who are our strategic partners, and they are the main aviation regulatory bodies. Also, they have these flight safety engineers, which are there ever ready to correct. We have the Gambia Civil Aviation Authorities annexes, so which directly comply to the International Civil Aviation Authority organizations annexes for safety and all that. So I hope with their activities and their help, we'll be able to achieve all this safety. So you mentioned of like the recent crashes caused a lot of detrimental losses to the airlines. I mean, it's inevitable at some point, but then some of the crashes are not even by human and all that. But safety, considering safety, there is a lot of things that is done by the International Aviation Body, which the airline doesn't necessarily do, but then which contributes to safety factors in the national in the global aviation ecosystem. That is from instruments that they place on there, that is from the professionals they employ, that is from the drafting of constitution, air operations regulations, and etc. So I don't know if that specifically answer your question. Maybe Sajo would like to just take a bit through and explain further, if possible.
Yeah, no. So for the sake of time, I actually have another question for Sajo. Your answer was very good. So just try to detail these things in the business plan, and also, yeah, I can see that you are very you have the capacity to convince investors. So but then let's see. Let's talk about the finance, which is where I want Sajo to chip in. I saw in your plan that you said you need an approximate amount of 9.7 million USD. Correct me if I'm wrong. USD, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So that's like $9.7 million. Of course, I mean you might even need more because this is airline, So it's highly expensive and highly impactful. But now, how do you plan? How exactly do you plan to raise this 9.7? Because we need to know if some contingency exists. Let's say if follow-on funding is delayed or is unavailable. So how do you go about it? Because most airlines, they have some really good strategic partners. Sometimes it's through joint ventures because uh, you really need strong support systems to be able to raise this capital. So how do you guys want to go about that?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Yao, for joining us. Yes, so regarding the issue of the finance, I think it's quite subjective. And just as you mentioned, let me affirm, it's again approximately 9.7 USD, that's US dollars. So when it comes to the aspect of the support or whatsoever we are seeking, I think it depends. Like per se, it could be either the financial support or per se the technical and operational support. Because when you were talking, you made a mention of airlines being part of like a type of a company that is quite technical. So if we are going to solicit support, these are the two areas that people look into. That is one, the financial support part, and also the technical and the operational support. So that aside, when it comes to how we're going to get the support that you make mention of, let's say if there is a delay or whatsoever, one is through government and institution support. Because the reason being that we're talking about the Gambia, and if you're having, let's say, you're supposed to have a company or a business that are in the Gambia as an airline company, it's quite imperative that the government should be aware of whatsoever you're gonna do. So for them to give you the green light of operation. So the first one would have to do with government and institution support. And also, no airline survives without state goodwill, just as I made mention of. So per se, we leverage government and of course regulatory channels to ensure that we're able to get the much needed support in the financial way. And the other one also would be to approach aircraft manufacturers and lessors early. Because as far as this is concerned, Emil earlier on reiterated that when it comes to operating airline companies, it's not like you're the one that have all the aircrafts and whatsoever. There are supposed to be that collaborations here and there. And down the line, you realize that these aircraft manufacturing companies tend to help you. So the other aspect will be that to approach those aircraft manufacturers and to ensure that it is done as early as possible. The other one also would have to do with the use of aviation incubators and of course advisory firms, because you realize that when it comes to the side of these advisory firms, sometimes they do have specific budgets allocated to people that will be pitching their businesses, and down the line when you approach them and they realize that your business is quite persuading or convincing, they're able to support you on the auspices of that. And I think as far as the the support again is concerned. The other one will have to do with strategic partnerships, because one of the guys here did ask of how are we going to, partner with other people in bilateral ways and things like that. So we already have that of ASCAI within Africa. We also have the Ethiopian Airlines. So I tend to approach them in ensuring that you have strategic partnerships with them or collaborations, and down the line that tends to help you as an upcoming airline company, and basically you're able to get the much needed fund as far as these things are concerned. Yes, I think that does it from my end. If ML has anything to add to that, thank you.
Now I'll proceed. I'll proceed for the sake of time. That was a well defended answer. So just make sure you guys highlight these things. I was nodding my head when you were talking about the government strategic partners. Those are the first things that you need to put in place, of course. So one final question for I have a lot of questions, but I think I'll just review the plans in depth and then leave my review. But if I should go with one final question for both of you, it's in 30 seconds, what is your wow factor? What is that wow factor that someone can look at your airline and then ditch all the competition or competitors and come to you?
Mr. Jao, you might want to dilute that into a more broader aspect. So,
Okay.
so we are talking about engineers here. So we would like a more diluted.
Yeah. So when we talk about wow factors is so when you see something amazing and then you are like, wow, what happens? Your eyebrows, you tend to raise your eyebrows automatically. So that is what we mean by wow factor. And your wow factor translates to your value. What value are you putting on the table that will make me and everyone here ditch all these airlines and then prefer your airline? Because though you are a Gambian brand, we need to support you, but it has to come with quality. So what is that value proposition that differentiates you?
Yes, of course, very well. I will start with the answer. Sadio will come later. So I want to just focus on one thing. That is, instead of like competing on already saturated routes, DMA is here to connect Africa, to cope the inconveniences that one has to go through in traveling from Africa. You have to go outside Africa, come all the way to Africa, then go come back in Africa. So this is the major that DM is to solve. So by solving this, I mean Ethiopian Airlines or ASCAI, basically the regional transport connectors are not very willing to connect most of the African countries. So you see what happens is they use like more low cost carriers like other undeveloped these things. So DMA, for a person to be like so impressed and say that I'm going to ditch Ethiopian Airlines and ASCAI just to pick DMA. This is what DMA is going to do. DMA is going to serve the on the served routes, and also we are not just going to in the short term. We are not just going to focus on already saturated routes like Gambia to Milan, Gambia to New York, and all. We are going to focus on like connecting the remote African countries. Like for example, there's no direct flight from Ethiopia to most of these. The North African countries, you understand? So you will see that even if those people want to travel within Africa, they have to go all the way outside the continent then just to come back. So DMA is here to connect Africa and make Banjul International Airport a very competitive regional aviation hub. So this is maybe our Y factor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We can't wait. We just hope that we will at least get one free flight for each and every person in this. Just one, right? Not two. One is enough. So thank you very much. I think I'll just quickly move to the second one, which is actually very novel, because we live in a digital era. I think it's for Mr. Momodu or Modu Lewis, something like, yeah. Is it correct? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, Modu Lewis.
Yes, Lewis. So your plan is actually very novel, because at this digital age now, especially with the rapid growth of AI, I think anything that is connecting technology is actually very good, because it is a high impact agri-tech platform that you're trying to build, right? And I think it is suitable for the Gambia, but of course there are major concerns that can be raised. I think one of the someone was asking you a question, and also highlighting specifically if this is going to work with. She even gave mention of, I think, Abuko or something. I think that was Sima. Sima was asking very tough questions, and they were very, very valid questions, because the adoption and the demand validation is important. So I understand you are still in India, and you've not. But before the first question, I had during you, because I witnessed your presentation. So in your presentation, there was a point that you were talking about. I don't know, if, correct me if I'm right, but I think you were talking about competition, and then you made mention of the fact that your business is gonna be the first one, and there is no competition. Did you say there is no competition, or there is little competition? Can you clarify that?
No, I didn't mention about no competition. I just said this will be like the first ever Gambian tech agri-tech platform. Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, nice. So it's gonna be the first one. Okay, so do you feel that you have competition or not, even though you are the first?
Yeah,
Your line is breaking, I think. Moderator, can you hear him? Is it just me, or is it?
Yeah, I can get you.
No, I mean, can
No,
Please, I think you are
he's not
having some
audible.
network issues. Yeah.
is it me or Modu?
It is from his end, I think, not from you. Hello, Mod Luis.
yeah. Sorry, Mr. Jawa. I just lost my connection from my
Yeah.
laptop. Now I'm using my phone. Yeah.
All right.
So as I was saying, competition for me, what I'm going to face really, it be among the traditional farmers. Those people that are not even using mechanized farming methods, because they will prefer going ahead with what they are going than rather investing into something digital that it's all about software and all of those stuffs. Yeah.
Okay. So now, do you agree, or do you believe that you have competition? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Good. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. So make sure you specifically highlight that in your business plan, because I see a lot of startups making this mistake, thinking that they don't really have competition. There is competition for any business. There's no way you cannot have competition. The reason is, if you think you have no competition, then probably you've not done your research well, because there are two types of competition. There is direct competition and indirect. So even you don't have direct competition, you will have indirect, and those indirect competitors are those that you need to take note of. For instance, if I'm the only one selling smartphone in the entire Gambia, or let's say in the entire Serekunda, yes, I might say I don't have a direct competitor. But anyone that is selling a laptop, selling a tablet, or selling a smart TV, anyone that is selling something that has functions that the phone has is an indirect competitor. So you look at it from that angle. So first you search for your direct competitors, then you go for the indirect ones. And I think the local farmers you mentioned, are part of that bracket. I just wanted that to be clear. So now the first question is the adoption, because it has been raised multiple times. Gambia, I am operating in e-commerce. It took me roughly 2 years for Gambians to understand how e-commerce works. And up to this point, my e-commerce platform, which is Lejimbo, we still have vendors that we need to help constantly. They are vendors in our platform, but they can't even update their products from in stock to out of stock. So the adoption takes time, and people, especially with the AI and technology and all that. So now, how do you intend to go about that? That is very important. Maybe I heard in one of your answers you said that you're still not in Gambia yet, but now if you go to Gambia, let's say the first thing you need to do, yeah. But let me listen to your answer first before my advice. How do you want to go about that?
Yeah, thank you very much. If you see the business plan I even proposed to you, as you said, it will. I wanted to answer that before I move on. You said, it should be at least 40 pages, but I guess mine will be more than 40 pages because it has to do with software. And if you are in the tech background, to build a software, there are certain steps. As I said before, I'm on the planning phase and analysis and design. That is where I am. But you have to have the whole architectural design and the user interface. and then the implementation and coding will be done. So if I'm done with all those three steps, that is the implementation, the design, and the planning, analysis, everything, then the testing phase, that is where the testing phase is going to be. In that way, I already have my software. I will come to the Gambia and make a survey with my software. Maybe I might visit farms and tell them this is how my software works. Give them an example of how this software is going to work. So that way, maybe they will be interested, to join this thing. Or as I when I was presenting, there was this girl I showed you, this Fatma Ture. We spoke about it, and she have a farm. So maybe I can use that farm as an example. Do my testing there. If it works, I'll just direct them to the farm, and they will see. Okay, this is what the farm was having before the technology came in, and this is what it is having after the technology came in.
Good. Yeah, that response is very, very convincing. So if I was an investor now, I am very convinced with that. So, but what I want you to do is you can consider reframing the testing to go to market. So let's say your testing, of course, you are doing a pilot test, but you consider that as go to market. That is your first go to market. So you go to the market, you're doing a test, yeah, but then you consider that as you're going to the market for the first time. And then that is where you decide which customer segment will you target first and why is that segment the most likely to pay. So then when you find these things and then you come back, then now you can fully prepare and launch fully. So I think if you take that strategy, you will be able to determine perfectly well if the adoption and demand is validated or not. And even if it is not validated, you will still know which particular segment within your target you need to focus on first before focusing on the bigger segments. So that is good. So the last question, it's just a quick one because investors are mostly particular about the finances. I saw that in your plan, I saw that you said you will reach break even, I think within 18 to 24 months. Yeah. So, I mean, given your pricing also, like how many paying users, or let's say I also had you mention your IoT clients are required to reach that, just an estimate. Yeah. I'm not saying, because based on your price, you can have an estimate of when the break even can actually happen.
Yeah. So what is the question exactly? Like when am I going to reach break even, right?
No, given your pricing, like how many paying users approximately do you think is required to reach your break even? Because your break even, you said 18 to 24 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For that one, I need 2,000 users.
2,000.
Yeah, I need 2,000 users.
Thank you very much. I think so. I'm asking this question.
I wanted to.
Yes.
I wanted to say something before you proceed. Are you writing all these questions, please? And these suggestions, are you writing it? Because I'm trying to write, but it's a bit fast because it's really important and I need it. Anytime I tell this thing to somebody, if they have questions, I write it down so that it can help for future reference.
I'm not sure if the meeting is being recorded, but if it is not recorded, I have your plans.
Yeah, it's been recorded.
I did not actually read your plan in depth. What I was doing, I was going to the key point. Solution. I'm looking at your file.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will give an overview feedback about your plan, and I will put some questions there as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So far, I received 3 plans. I think this one, the poultry, and the DMA. For some reason, this DMA airline is enticing me there. But let's see if they will give us discount. So basically, I just want to give my final words because it's very, very late here. So I think both plans are very, very good. I went through the poultry one, but I have some bonus questions there, but it's like the person did not present. But starting with DMA, like I said earlier, it's it's a very, very ambitious project. Let's call it a project because I think one of your teammates said it can take 10 years, 15. True, it can take longer than that. But it is extremely complex and expensive. We know that. So I think right now your biggest priority should be, trying to build an experienced team force around everything that you do in the operation safety. And then, the finance is also important, but you've mentioned how you want to achieve that 9.7 million USD. So once you get all these things done, I think the next step, is the regulation and the certification. And that is where the government comes in. Like, like you rightly mentioned earlier. Yeah, so basically it's a very very ambitious project, and to have this in the Gambia, it's revolution. Yeah, it is going to change the status quo, and it is something that will not only benefit Gambians, but it will also take, like, internally, but it will take Gambia's image further, and it will attract more airlines to the country. So with digital harvest, your problem is the problem you are trying to solve is also very relevant, and the integration of AI and technology in everything you do. I think it makes it something really perfect. Even if the adoption takes time now, but it's better to start now. Because I said earlier, the last time we had I had the sessions with you guys, that you don't have to be big, or you don't have to have everything to start. So you have to start to be great. So you start and learn along the process. That is how it goes. Yeah. So what I'll advise is you just focus on customers first who pay, and then then you can, before expanding to other holders, you can first try to understand which segment pays first. Then from there you can see what is next, or which segment you should put first. And I think you will get that detailed data when you do your go-to-market, which is your pilot testing. Yeah. So once again, thank you very much for the invitation. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. We are always motivated when it comes to business. I'm an entrepreneur, and that is what I'm studying as well. So I have reviewed a lot of plans and served as judge in a lot of competitions. But these two plans that I have here with me so far are very novel business plans. So if you follow the right steps, I think this is something that is really, really achievable. And please invest in learning as well, because I understand you are still still at the early stage. So invest in learning. You read more about your industry. You try to um, do a lot more. Yeah, because entrepreneurship, the word entrepreneurship itself, like I tell my team always, it has the word ship at the end. If you truly observe entrepreneurship, so that ship, if you know ship, it means it's something that you use to sail through. So to sail through, you actually need three small ships, and these three ships, I think most of us, we went through them. That is internship, apprenticeship, and mentorship. So most of us did apprenticeship. We've supported in projects or volunteered somewhere. Some of us have done our internships, but a lot of people missed out on mentorships. Yeah, because when you go to school, what do you have? You have teachers in primary school, junior, high school. When you go to university, you have lecturers. And most of the times, the lecturers that are teaching us business and in school, they're actually not teaching us exactly how to succeed and how to gain financial freedom through business. They're not teaching us this. It is not their fault, though, by the way, because they are following a curriculum. So they are very sincere, but the problem is they are sincerely wrong. Now the question is, how do you find a real teacher? A real teacher is someone that is exactly practicing what you are doing. That is why I said in school you have teachers, in university you have lecturers, but when you graduate, what do you have? That's where you have coaches and mentors. So I will advise you guys to find a mentor, find someone that is actually an expert in the things that you are trying to do. Let them show you so many things based on their experience. Because if you learn better, you will, of course, know better. And if you know better, you will do better. So that is, for me personally, that is my philosophy. We all have mentors that are guiding us, and it is very, very important. You can have the knowledge, the degree, and everything, but if you don't have an experienced person that can guide you in what you want to do according to their experience in that particular field, a lot of people, sometimes they miss the right road. So I wish you guys all the best and ultimate success in these projects, and hopefully it will become a reality soon, not for yourselves, but for the Gambia, the continent, and the world at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Jao. Yeah, your insights are very, very educative. I think it will go a long way in helping all of us, not only the participants, but all the business and non-business students that are here that have the intention to establish their business. I think it will help them a lot. Okay, so without wasting much time, Khadija, if you have something to say, you may. If you don't, we can just go and do the closing remark.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mr. Senator, please is a little bit noisy, the environment where I am currently. So I just want to say thank you so much to all the participants for taking your time and then taking us through all your business plans. I hope we will implement them and then put them into reality one day, inshallah. And thank you very much, Mr. Jao, for making it. We are very grateful. So, Seni, I think you can just proceed with the agenda and then thank you so much.
Okay. Can we have closing remark from Deputy Communication Minister?
Yes, good evening. Yes, actually, Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to everyone here from India, and I believe in Indonesia, and then good afternoon to all of you, everyone joining us from the Gambia. I believe as we come to the end of the day two of our finals week, I would like to sincerely thank everyone who made today's session a success. It has truly been an inspiring and an insightful experience. I would like to sincerely commend our presenters for their innovative ideas and confidence. From the first business plan that was presented by Modula Minjeng and Sajo A.K. Jaju, it showcased creativity, ambition, and a strong entrepreneurial mindset, especially from engineering students. And also the second one that was presented by Mr. Muru Luis, it also highlighted innovation, sustainability, and the future of agriculture through technology in the Gambia and worldwide. Well done to all of you for your outstanding efforts. And also a very special appreciation goes to our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Mohamed Jao, for once again honoring our invitation. This marks the second time he has graced our platform, and we are truly grateful for his continued support, mentorship, and valuable insights. Thank you for always showing up for the Gambian students in India. I'd also like to appreciate our host, Ms. Khadija Jalo, our co-host, Mr. Seni Jaite, the organizers, that is the Finance Ministry under the leadership of Honorable Vice Jam, and everyone working behind the scenes to make this program a success. As we conclude today's session, I would like to remind everyone to join us tomorrow for another impactful session. That will be a guest lecture by Dr. Usman Gajigo, who will be speaking on the economic state of the Gambia. It promises to be an enlightening and engaging discussion, so please don't miss it. Once again, thank you all for your time, participation, and commitment. Have a wonderful night, and we look forward to seeing you on day three of the finance week. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you so very much, Mr. Deputy Communication Minister. Without wasting much time, I think we can close it now.